when it was Kemet, Black Egypt. It was a Nile Valley civilization. Black Egypt. It wasn't no Mediterranean culture like us. You gon' get tormented for 4 minutes if it's war. When it just said Jeshurun got a false door in it. The Nubian flow, that's before Kemet. My Sakim T got rubies and gold, and it's fit for a Kushite king. But what it look like, the green Sahara ring bearer, bring terror to your satellite kingdom, so they do not bother me. Scarification look like wavy line pottery. Kush with the black top pots, a rap top notch, and I could kick you till your laptop stops. I'm like Tahaka, Shabaka, or Pianki, the author's a father. Any cocky, I came down and out through the lands of Kush, living a pre-dynastic pharaoh way and marrow way. Kerma, Khartoum, or Simna by the 5th cataract. Now I put the 5th wheel on the Cadillac. So much ride, a white man couldn't battle that though, they had to paddle back. Black Egypt. Black Egypt. Black Egypt. Gotta look and see where the Nile started. Black Egypt. And how it was easier to go downstream than upstream. And which way the river flowed. Don't look at the color, look at the culture. Black Egypt. What you know about Dynasty 00? Roll through with Shimsu, Heru on the standard. Ta-Nehisi, Sudanese G's. Try to test me, I'm an archer from Tasseti. The squad ready, so I'm stepping in with the extra thin leopard skin. A tail on the apron with my crown on. You could crack jokes, but I ain't the one to clown on. Hey yo, Egypt was black, and that's a fact. All you little suckers need to step on back. They tried to throw us off, but we kept on track. We started doing research, but you slept on that. And with Kemet, it don't matter what the name means. If it's a black culture, then that's the same thing. Race science is a lame thing. Ever since Nubian times, I let the chain swing. How the first nome of Egypt was Tasseti, but Tasseti was Tasseti already. Yep, it meant the land of the bow, and when Egyptians needed archers, this is where they would go to recruit them. I got arrows and I shoot them. Who them fake pharaohs? I uproot them and use Black Egypt. Black Egypt.
Yeah.
Black Egypt.
Yeah.
Black Egypt.
What up, what up?
Black Egypt.
We out here chilling.
Black Egypt.
And it's all good.
Egypt. Bo.
Yeah. Just about to chill for a minute. Do my thing. Elijah say the debate should be, are there better ways to get a sense of pride in blackness than Black Egypt? That's what you get out of Black Egypt, is a sense of pride in blackness? Or correcting and resurrecting history? What if it wasn't about a sense of blackness, but it was still right? Let's go. Let's get this started. God Killer. What's up with Domo? Joe. Cousin Kurt, I see you. RTP, man himself.
Let's rock squad up, Magi archers in the building, please believe. Oh shit. If you ain't Sinetta, no time for that interview, dog. I put my shit out for niggas, I don't send it to blogs. Clan kill off the Buddha, not being discreet. One puff, this big pops and projectiles. Between the sheets. Sun run, cold game, bring your cleats. The best flow blow, Eskimo, penguin feet. Don't need no blunt to burn. You run the turf with 10 niggas on the block. That's a punt return. Ayo, Dolomite prototype soldier with the solar light. Saber and he hold it like he hold a mic. Golden ice pendants. Sipping on that overpriced poltergeist spirits. Ripping at the open mic, quote the nice lyrics like Mama moved mean overnight. Golden motorbike holding on some Tron shit. That nice neon kit is on it. The king's libation with exotic liqueur. The queen's vibration like a Sada Shakur. A lot of decor, imported foreign threads, they ain't got at the store. Nubian Kush, and black top pottery jars, 39% THC, the quality pure. Old rapper try to spit ain't hot as before. It's like I'm 5 flights above, bust the shots at the floor. Cats switch up their style when they ain't got it no more. Cause they gotta keep their product in stores to feed their kids. See what that weed did? The yes man agreeing on everything we said. I smother the mic like it's the love of my life. Don't get sliced and beat with the butt of the knife. Brother polite, I say I'm animalistic, cause I still be in the hood with my hand on my pistol. The Hebrews think I'm cannibalistic, E5 divination, channel the mystic, audio visionary. Let's play poetical Pictionary. Picture me burning down your missionary. Yeah. Then I send you religion. That red dot on your head, that's Hindu tradition. Invisible, independent, intrinsic shit. I'll bring it all to an end with indivisible games. Charles Xavier, getting your brain. Mental anguish or manifesting physical pain. Wisdom remains to dance in the chemical rain. Breathe slow, then I'm up out of this physical plane. Got military machinery that exercise, weaponized greenery. Shine that'll jeopardize the scenery, son. Bruh, the beam 10 times your distance. Inclines convention, stop rising with no trend line resistance. The parabolic breakout, I'm F-16 with the aeronautic fake out.
The God killer, the God killer, the God killer, the God killer, it's the God killer, the God killer.
That's who it is.
The God killer, the God killer, it's the God killer, the God killer, the God killer, the God killer, it's the God killer, the God killer, the God killer. God killer. God killer.
Garfield versus Smash, huh? Let me see. Oh, let me see. Oh, we might as well go on and listen to that. It's the Hotep style. This how you change something when they make it derogatory. You just come back at them hard. Look.
How you bout to ride? You do not carry arms. You niggas Disney, Six Flags, Dairy Farm. Might ride for fun, but you not gon' do shit. All you hear is skull crushing acoustics from my Q6. Thermal scope hit him in dark. I let a few spit. The HK put him in park for amusement. First round lift him up, got him Ferris Wheeling. Second round laid him down. Now he carouseling. You fake lord, I'm the best of all times. And the boat drag niggas like wakeboard and a parasailing. And parasailing, nefarious felon. Various chariots and carriers into the Aquarius era. I set traps, I should go check now. Used to be backpack, hoes call us Hotep now. We blowing whole zips cause we getting more checks now. African rum, zoomed up, slapping the drum. The dashiki match the Rolex now. So from now on, you can call that Hotep style. Bitch, ever see me chasing a bag? I got duffel dough. I live off trees like how truffles grow. Full string marionette, it be a puppet show. At the wet and try marionette. I let a couple go straight down the aisle. Suppressor with the muzzle on. Now you can't suppress her. I put a muzzle on the bitch. Hey, don't confuse me for them other dudes. I still reflect light like the mirrors that Hubble used. Crazy wavy, I'm on some other shit. You test me, I'm one particle in a double slit. The results say I gotta be deceived. Then it's aquatic audio until you're nautically fatigued. Smash atoms in the radio waves to see who sounds priceless. Time's relative, we have different noun slice. For pound wise, it's witty with sound devices. I paint audible circles around the night. Beef for how you asking where the biscuits at. My butler carved your chest, brisket flat. We only beefing cause your cuts his ass. That's a rump. Back in the day we would've kicked that ass. That's a Trump quote. Get your ass kicked at your party like a drunk. You on the bottom, then we picking up jewels. That's a sunk boat. Smoked oak, evergreen, and pine wood. We forklift money like sheets of plywood. Warehouse grill, few mil in assets. Been 25 years, y'all ain't fucking with cash yet.
All right, that's cool. It just popped on, so I let it play. What's up with the people, though? Hope y'all can hear me good. Shout out to everybody. It is what it is. God damn, though. I seen something up about a debate about today. I didn't even know about it. But I ain't mad. Definitely ain't mad. But I think it would take a little bit of structure and arrangement for us to make that pop right. But maybe we could just talk. I don't even know, he might have forgot he put that video up. Because I think it was a humiliating face-off little thing that happened, right? And he didn't know what to do. So he was like, what should I do? And he just put up a video called Smash versus Garfield debate. Because everybody heard that video. We ain't coming to nothing about no debate like that. You had the wrong article. But hold up, though. I was chilling today, had some fun. That shit was raw. Let me see. I'm just trying to get my video production up. About to play one of these vids. So y'all can know to tap in. Some of the people who, I could look at my analytics, and a lot of the people who watch my live streams don't watch my videos at all. So this is a video you probably ain't seen yet. Let's check it out. Hold up. After this commercial.
Those who see the correlation between
video will play after ads. That's how you know. Now, if y'all skip past the ads, that's the easiest way to contribute is watching the ad. But let's go.
Egyptians who were clearly African are often depicted as anything but in. Have you ever wondered why the ancient Egyptians who were clearly African are often depicted as anything but in popular culture? It's a question that takes us back to the origins of Egyptology, where early European researchers, carrying their cultural biases, often painted a picture of ancient Egyptians as light-skinned. This depiction, largely a reflection of their own image, was not just a product of their imagination, but a deeply ingrained bias that failed to acknowledge the African roots of this ancient civilization. And like a seed sown in fertile ground, these images took root, spreading through popular culture and academia, persisting even in the face of mounting evidence to the contrary. This is not just about historical accuracy. This misrepresentation has had far-reaching consequences. It has distorted our understanding of ancient Egypt, and perhaps more importantly, it has perpetuated harmful racial stereotypes. This misrepresentation has not only distorted our understanding of ancient Egypt, but it has also perpetuated harmful racial stereotypes. The Eurocentric bias in Egyptology didn't happen by accident. It emerged as a deliberate choice, a reflection of the racial ideologies that were prevalent at the time. Early Egyptologists, largely Europeans, often viewed their own cultures as superior. This mindset led to an interpretation of Egypt's history that placed Europe at its center, and in doing so, overshadowed its African roots. This bias was not purely academic. It had far-reaching implications. It played into the hands of those who wanted to separate Egypt from its African identity, conveniently fitting their narrative of a civilized Egypt that was disconnected from the rest of primitive Africa. This Eurocentric interpretation was then perpetuated and institutionalized in the field of Egyptology, leading to a skewed understanding of Egypt's history. This institutionalization was not without consequences. It led to the marginalization of African scholars in the field, their voices often drowned out by the dominant Eurocentric narrative. Their contributions were overlooked, their perspectives dismissed, and their rightful place in the discourse on Egypt's history was denied. The erasure of Egypt's African heritage was not just a matter of misrepresentation, but a form of historical injustice. But let's not forget the most tangible casualty of this bias, the history of ancient Egypt itself. Egypt's history is diverse and rich, a melting pot of cultures and influences. By imposing a Eurocentric lens, we risk reducing this complexity to a single narrative. We risk losing out on the full breadth and depth of Egypt's historical tapestry. By sidelining African scholars and downplaying Egypt's African heritage, the Eurocentric bias in Egyptology has deprived us of a more nuanced, more accurate, and more complete understanding of Egypt's past. The Eurocentric bias in Egyptology has done a disservice to the diverse and rich history of ancient Egypt. Change, though slow, is happening. In the world of Egyptology, a wave of change is sweeping through, challenging the long-established Eurocentric bias. This shift is largely influenced by the relentless work of African and Black scholars who are not just spectators, but active participants in the reshaping of our understanding of ancient Egypt. These scholars are not only bringing new perspectives to the table, but they're also boldly challenging the institutional racism that exists within academia. They're questioning the status quo, daring to rewrite the narratives that have long been accepted without
I'm gonna go on and make the new
They're
hidden colors.
encouraging us to look at ancient Egypt through a different lens.
All right,
One
let's
that's
make
more
this new
inclusive
hidden
and
colors,
representative
y'all.
of the diversity that truly existed. These courageous academics are the voices of change, pushing against the tide of bias, and their work is invaluable. While the fight against racism in Egyptology is far from over, these scholars are paving the way for a more inclusive and accurate representation of ancient Egypt. Racism in Egyptology is not just about misrepresentation. It's a deep-seated issue that distorts our understanding of one of the most fascinating civilizations in human history. We've journeyed through the complexities of this problem, from the unspoken racial bias that colors our perception of ancient Egypt, to the Eurocentric lens that has dominated Egyptology for centuries. This bias hasn't just warped our view of the past, but it has also done harm in the present, perpetuating stereotypes and misconceptions. But remember, there's a push for change. A new generation of Egyptologists is challenging these biases, striving for a more inclusive and accurate understanding of ancient Egypt. This isn't just about setting the historical record straight. It's about recognizing the diversity and complexity of human history, about learning from the past to shape a more equitable future. In challenging racism in Egyptology, we are not only rewriting history, but we are also challenging the racial biases that continue to shape our world today.
You heard that, Logic? Let me bring that back for Logic, just that one
Lens
part.
that has dominated.
Because he keep being like, it's about a sense of pride. But let's listen to what it's really about.
Cities of this problem, from the unspoken racial bias that colors our perception of ancient Egypt, to the Eurocentric lens that has dominated Egyptology for centuries. This bias hasn't just warped our view of the past, but it has also done harm in the present, perpetuating stereotypes and misconceptions. But remember, there's a push for change. A new generation of Egyptologists is challenging these biases, striving for a more inclusive and accurate understanding of ancient Egypt. This isn't just about setting the historical record straight. It's about recognizing the diversity and complexity of human history, about learning from the past to shape a more equitable future. In challenging racism in Egyptology, we are not only rewriting history, but we are also challenging the racial biases that continue to shape our world today.
Check it out. That's what y'all contributions is helping manifest. All the people with the green names on the channel. You know, you might join hella channel, but you don't see nothing changing, nothing getting better. That's your contributions helping that happen. All the cash apps to Smash Rock. I love y'all. Let's keep it popping though. I just need y'all to see. Because I'll be like, okay, at the end of the day, I might buy a new piece of technology to help us get further. And you understand that you have to be graphically astute when you're dealing with the machine. But let's keep it popping. Right here. Oh, then we can have some fun.
My point. Ancient.
Yeah.
This is what we are disagreeing about. My point. Ancient Egypt was a multicultural and multi-ethnic civilization due to its geolocation connecting the Middle East, Africa, Asia and Europe, a strategic location on the crossroad of continents, flourishing around the Nile River, which was a cultural conduit of civilization. Therefore, there is diversity on the skin of the Egyptians. Throughout time and location, the ethnic percentages will vary depending on era and region. According to the results of my research, the majority of ancient Egyptians would have had an olive skin, with a lower percentage of black individuals living mostly in the southern areas of Egypt, and some white settlers and white ruling elite during the later periods. The ancient Egyptians were a multi-ethnic African.
Hey, what's up with J Mill in the building? Yeah, come on, let's do that. So it was when I looked it up. Now I didn't see shout out to J Mill. We about to tap into the TLA real quick. Now I looked through Edfu for heck of stuff, right? But all I recall was Horus's set on the walls of Edfu. And they do got another way in here that we could look. So I'm gonna try that. Yeah, you know. we gets that in. Airfu project. There we go. Airfu 4, Airfu 5. But what's in there that we want to see, other than the story, that Horus, the glyphs of the Horus and Set story, nothing is coming up out of my head. I mean, nothing is coming up in my head. But yeah, let me see. Now, I thought it was a Kemetu on there, and I searched for it. And just so y'all know, J Mill is in Kemet right now, tapping into the show. Like, man, what you need? You feel me? So I'm like, man, let's get this airful. Because he said he was on his way there. Let me see. But yeah, it's simply going to be I think we're going to find it on the outer walls of Edfu. It'll be the story of Horus and Set. There's also a time where, all right, let's look up the time when Ptolemy called himself Kim. That's a good one. That's on Edfu. Oh, now we cooking. One of the Ptolemies called himself Kim, right? And people don't understand why this entry is in this book. Now check this out. If we come to the Kims, what we'll find, I know this inside out, we've been looking over this for 50 years. If we go to the last page in the TLA, which is getting its entries out of the last Kim page in the TLA, which is getting its entries out of the water bush or wood booth or whatever. The wood booth. I don't know. I'll be like, man, I can't speak. I can't try that. But let's find it real quick. I thought it was on the last page, but let's just look. It ain't the last page. Let me use my memory for white. It's gonna say white for Kim, bruh. And so I don't want to say that I don't want to say that they changed the definition of it for that reason. Because, but it was one of the Ptolemies who used it for that reason. So it was probably just saying darker than something else. But we'll be able to analyze it when we see it. And actually, I think it's just by itself. It ain't even going to be in the sentence when you find it. It's just going to wind up being the Kim glyph. But I'm having a problem. So let me do something. And we're going to keep on building. And then I look and see. You on your way there right now? Let me see. I know it ain't a different dictionary. So we're having an anomaly is in the late period grammar. And so yeah, there is this Kim that means white. Let me see. But it want to elude me. Maybe I'll look into the Demotic. Let's see. Oh man, I don't want to have to. I'll find it. I know how to find it. I know another way to find it. See, it's kind of hidden in the TLA, I just remembered. You can't find it in here unless you go through all the attestations. Look, watch this. I just had to remember 4 attestations. That's not it. You got to go to the one with all the attestations. Then go to the last page. I knew it was something about the last page. So let's see. 25 attestations. It might be this one. Let's go to translate to English. We're going to go to the last page. It's definitely going to be here. Let's see. New Kingdom, New Kingdom. There you go. Hold on. Well, let's see. Egyptian Museum, Egyptian Museum. This ain't what we're looking for. Let me see. I got to find it, but under another rendering. I'm going to see it. Glad you tapped in. Then I'm about to show y'all a connection between Kush. Remember I told the story about the Kush, Mentuhotep went down and got the Kushites. And that's why we see this culture. This, we learn about the word Kush, and what they used to say was the Magi archers. And they still say it, but we're going to look at this document and see how that holds up. Hold up. I need to find this album. Don't trip. This is what you be having to do. I just made a funny video. I'm going to play it while I'm looking for this. Let me see. It's just some bars putting into, I put some bars into the AI and then let it spit the bars. They're going to start doing this. No. Kim, see, that's what I'm saying, Chef. So in late Egyptian, when the Ptolemies came, hella weird stuff started happening. So it's only one attestation where it actually has it on there saying white. I'm going to show you it. But just while I'm looking it up on this screen, let me let this other thing play on this screen. So it don't mean black and white. Okay.
Bang?
This was hella funny.
Y'all dudes wanna bang? I'll have you like casual was tripping. I wore blue to the Republican National Convention. I'm a boss. No, that's my actual position. With chicks, I take my pick like I just got my natural conditioned. Mr. This your sister? It's the game that will relax her, so the click can twist her. But you are not your hair. My best girl used to rock the Johnson S-Curl Sex Thorough in my scuba gear with Cheryl, and I cracked the clam that possessed the best pearl. Look at my oily hands. I'm royally grand. Put me over some heat, and watch me bubble like water in boiling pans to foil your plans with my loyalist fans. If you ever looking for the man, you better beat the street. I won't leave fingerprints on your freak physique. Be hard to find. At the telly with hella my partners. You at the deli, trench-coated like Telly Savalas. Regardless if he spit it the hardest, I give it to artist your favorite. Be your dearly departed. I lyrically audit albums to make sure the math right. That chick from last night should get some act right. Overseas, mommy, please appease her with a visa. Cheap skeezer, I just stepped out the deep freezer. In the breeze for she's. Grab my keys, finna leave with a dick teaser named Felicia and Fifi. Get twerk. I hooked her ass up on the G3 network with Efi X work. And every now and then catch me at Eastmont Mall. When them chickens scream, it sounds like a peacock call. Call the beat shop for the speaker box. Back in the day, Touré used to beatbox heat rocks. I wasn't selling tapes, I couldn't visit no street blocks. When everybody got Adidas, we got Reeboks. Your boy Dre knows I should have been on detox. Cause I stay running through them trees like Ewoks. Check my profile. He thugging indeed. Look at him loving his weed, make the government bleed, he on some other shit. Cousin gone recover with speed, and hover above him like angels, your mother would love him, he's slick. I rhyme sick to move ya, spit like you doing the Heimlich maneuver. Behind him, but he let the Ruger remind him. He lives in the Bay, and that's where you'll find him.
Y'all know I just created a whole new something that's about to happen in hip hop, like we always do. But I'm gonna just go on and bang out about 20 of those, 10 of those today before they steal my swag and put it on their page with 1 million views and have people thinking they started that. You feel me? Y'all all watching gonna be like, I seen when he started it. Watch next year this time. Here you go for my man J Mill. No, so I did. I had to spell Felicia name wrong for the AI to say Felicia right. You kind of got to be misspelling some. You're right. You're smart. And so I was doing that, but I was taking too long. And this is what I appreciated, the way he was saying it different to me than me and not on the beat. I could have made it go to the beat. So I'm going to work around with it and just watch on my Instagram. I'm going to be putting them up. But here we go at Edfu. It says Edfu 7. All right. Second register, east wall. The offering of the two Ujat eyes. Now, we need to see this text for a reason. Before they say there's some, or they say there is not a Kim, that means pupil. But notice here in the whole text, they're talking about both of the eyes. But at one point in this text, we need to be able to see the primary to see if they're talking about the black of the eye together with the white of the eye, or if it's one black eye, one white eye. We know that too. We know this is one text, but since you're about to be at Edfu, let us look at it, and we'll be able to see the Kim here and how they break that down. I'm going to try to, but it says I don't know what Edfu 6 is, but it says the second register on the east wall, where we'll find Kim. Offering to the two watch it eyes. Now let's look into this Edfu, see if we can find some more there. I'm going to go the other way. And then there was the story of Horus and Set right there. But let's get back to this way. Then we're going let me see. So I click Edfu, this one, and it only had oh no, I got a few things. But what are they? Horus is Set in that Kim line. Those would be dope if you could capture those, bro. Let's see. But yeah, I'm gonna keep looking, and hopefully, we can keep it popping. But I'm gonna get to this article. Let me see. Hold up. I don't know, but I don't know if you're gonna go to Filet or not. Yeah, I hadn't heard you say nothing about that. But I'm just trying to think of stuff in that area. And those are the only two things that I remember coming across. All right, so let me see, what could I do? Oh, here go another one. Oh, don't tell me I did this by accident. Ah, yeah. Your city, Edfu, is the sky of Egypt, but they said it said Egyptians. And I know it's a command to you here, bro. See, look at the screen. Watch, let me go back. When I click here first, I thought it said Egyptians. All right, trip it. Well, it's just say Egypt. But you're going to see all kind of chemists at Edfu. Edfu 6. What does this say? Let me see. Your city, Edfu, is the sky of Egypt. On the some west wall, but it ain't let me know what this say right here. South basement, the south basement on the west half or the west hall. South basement, west hall, translate. From that's French. Well, it didn't tell me what it meant. German. Nope. So yeah, the west half. Now the south basement must be French. I don't know. But whatever south basement means, let's tell it to detect that language. It's in the west half of something, in the basement. In the west half of the basement. You feel me? That's just your city. Elfo is the sky, Egypt. But if you go, look, let me show you. If you go into the TLA, click here and click guest, and then just go to text, you could go through this whole list. I'm going to do some when I ain't streaming, some more when I ain't streaming. But if you just land, when you get time and land up, you could go through this whole list. Let me see. And the bottom one is the Air Food Project. Yep. All right. All right, so what was I saying, though? I'm going to come back to that. So what was I saying about, what was it? About the 12th dynasty. About the 12th dynasty. Where I made claims that it was Kushites who came up that helped Mentuhotep, because they said somebody was going to come from the south, and then he was down with all the priestesses of Hathor. I made a claim that it was Mentuhotep who went and found these Kushites and brought them back up. And so I just was reading a recent article about excavations done, new excavations done in Kerma. And all they showing is all of the material culture that we call Pangrave culture that entered into Egypt at about the 12th dynasty. So then that's kind of crazy, because I was just doing some other research and I came across this article. Oh, you see? Came across this article. Oh, my bad. The archers of Kerma. Now you see how I've been on the Magi archers forever, but that ain't taking us down far south as Kerma when I say that. But if we see the material culture that we say there was a cultural entanglement with Egypt, because we find graves with similar items, but then certain things that let you know it was different, a little bit different. With some of the items that we have associated with the Nubian people who we were saying was just right there, this article shows how that culture spreads deep into the south. Right in the Kerma. And it get crazy. So I'm about to let the AI do its thing. I mean, I'm just going to do some voice stuff. Let me see. My voice messed up, but I'm going to try my voice today. Let's see. They're just going to give us a quick summary of how this works. They recommend switching to 11 multilingual too. All right, let's see. See, it's too much noise in my background. I think it was my computer generating that noise because I thought it was quiet. So let's listen to my AI voice read this. A research program conducted by the Swiss Archaeological Mission in the oldest sectors of the eastern cemetery of Kerma has uncovered the tombs of several dozen archers. The appearance of these armed warriors, dating from CE 2300 BC onwards, can be put in parallel with the resumption of commercial activities between Egypt and Nubia, illustrated by the Harkuf expeditions. The archers and their warrior attributes probably participate in the emergence of kingship Say, 2000 BC, which takes control of the commercial axis along the Nile and is illustrated by the accumulation of wealth and the development of servitude. This article proposes to describe these Kerma archers and then to look at the evolution of funerary rites that show in their own way how a social hierarchy emerges that will lead to the birth of a state. In this instance, the kingdom of Kerma. Archers, warriors, Kerma, kingdom, Sosai. All right, do I have to sound that bad? A research program conducted by the Swiss Archaeological Mission in the oldest sector of the eastern cemetery of Kerma has uncovered the tombs of several dozen archers. The appearance of these armed warriors dating to circa 2300 BC onward can be put in parallel with the presumption of commercial activities between Egypt and Nubia, illustrated by Harkuf's expeditions. The archers and their warrior attributes probably participated in the emergence of the kingship circa 2000 BC, which takes control of the commercial axis along the Nile, and is illustrated by the accumulation of wealth and the development of servitude. Ooh, this is what they're going to start doing. I just thought of it. They're going to let you incorporate reading errors into the AI in order to make it sound more realistic. Like you can say, how often should he mess up? And say, let him mess up once a page. You feel me? Or let his mess ups be random. Then it'll sound more realistic. But I just thought of that too. Maybe I need to get offline and go. Days when I get ideas like this, I need to get offline and write them down. But anyway, illustrated by the accumulate. Oh, so what was we at? Harkuf expeditions. Nope. Which take control of the commercial axis along the Nile and is illustrated by the accumulation of wealth and the development of servitude. This article proposes to describe these Kerma archers and then to look at the evolution of funerary rites that show in their own way how a social hierarchy emerges that will lead to the birth of a state. And in this instance, it's the kingdom of Kerma. So read this article. It's a good article. You see it's 32 pages, but a lot of it is the sources. But that ain't really what I want to focus on. I kind of want to look at some of these. So even though hasn't been labeled that, we can clearly see that this is in the shape of a pan grave, which was given to, it's on SoundCloud, DJ LaRock. That's just on SoundCloud, on the hieroglyphic SoundCloud. Similar to a pan grave. But what will we find inside of here are the representations we will find inside of. In here, we see a dog. What looks like a dog, at least. What looked like a bow, but I don't think if he made whether it was a bow or no. He made that it was a bow, but he said it was curved in such a way that it might have been a ode to technology, but it wasn't a precursor to the bow. All right, it wasn't a precursor to the we gotta get into the details when they talk about the curve of this bow, to the compound bow. So let's go to the archer's graves. Now again, these archers, I argue, had a lot to do with, well, archers from the south, we know they had a lot to do with Mentuhotep unifying Egypt. We know about them prior to the 12th dynasty, but they start to take prominence in archaeology, starts to find them flourishing at around, well, not flourishing, but finds their remains are archaeological remains, their grave sites, plentiful in the 12th dynasty. So they might have flourished, just as I presume, in around the 11th dynasty. I mean, but don't let me belittle that. I'm talking about the pan graves that they associated with just that dynasty, because the people of Madjai, who were known as the archers, they was popping for the whole history of Egypt. But what I often knew by just, I had the suspicion because the data was leading in that direction, that it was a bigger, obviously we know it was Kush. But if we keep mixing up Nubians with Kushites, and there's small details in here that'll let us know, okay, it's similar culture, but it's different. Let me go to one point of contention. And I'm an archer, so we're going to talk about our wrist guards. Now, the common modern, let me show you. If I want to buy a wrist guard, it's going to look like this. Well, see, they showing you some old ones because if you want to look fresh, that's cool. But basically, what you don't know is the things that the Hebrews be wearing, they don't even know why they be wearing that. Because I ain't never seen them with no bow. I'm talking about them things right there. But I want to show you a modern one like Amazon. Yeah, your wrist guard gonna be made out of some new Teflon-y material, you feel me? These is even way hella big. I just rock a small wrist guard. That it basically makes sure right where your artery at. You don't want to get hit nowhere on the wrist, but you gotta kind of be weak to get hit all up there. But a misfire or something, and that's dangerous. But it's to protect the wrist. And just like I'm saying, you're going to see the Nubians had the same tendency that I was talking about. Because we wasn't tripping off that big-ass wrist guard. Let me show you. I'll show you that too, but since I'm talking about the wrist guard. Here we go. So see, you would just want to be protecting the part right there. So it says, leather archer wrist guard. Yes. That was started in Egypt. People be thinking I make everything do that. But even if you get into modern day archery, it's two things you need: a trigger and a wrist guard. And I will argue that both of those were started in the south of Africa. You know, the central South Africa, central Southeast Africa, whatever y'all want to do. Because we seen archery going back to damn near 70,000 years. Yeah, I mean, man, that sound hecka crazy, so let me Google it for y'all. I just put archery 70,000 years, and here comes the Smithsonian. So stop tripping if I know something and your brain say, he said archery 70,000 years. Past research suggests, this is from the Smithsonian Magazine. Past research suggests that the earliest bow and arrow hunting in the world took place in Africa roughly 70,000 years ago. All right? So I ain't attached nothing to that. I wasn't saying the bow. But when you look at that, you don't see no traces of the protections that they was using. The technology starts to develop. So we get this wrist guard. Now here's something that's different. Let's see what he says about the wrist guard. The leather archer's wrist guard of a specific model that seems to be typical of the Kerma tradition. These have been found in a few cases in situ on the left wrist of the deceased. And guess what? Oh man, I'm a real Magi archer, bro. You know for a fact. That's where I rock my you gotta rock. Why is you rocking it on the right? Well, it comes with your dominant eye. But we'll talk about that at another time. On the left wrist of the deceased, and they are always of the same design, with the protection part provided with two concave sides and a pointed end. Some similar specimens are known from Egypt in a mass grave of soldiers found at Deir el-Badari of the 12th dynasty. 12th dynasty. Mass grave. They got knocked down and got through in the hole, and they still had their archers' wrist guards on, I presume. This type of wrist guard is usually in Egypt. And some authors consider it to have come from the north, but it probably belongs to Nubian archers originally attached to the Kerma culture. So what does that say? We looking at the material culture to make the connection. Now we making that circle, that bubble around what we call Tasseti. Man, I ain't saying this was Tasseti, but I'm saying they said it was the land of the bow. Right? But we see that tradition going further south. An intact grave of 18-year-old archer. He wore a necklace with a red seashells pendant, an ostrich feather fan, an archer's wrist guard on his left wrist, and a sheepskin loincloth covering his hips and his legs. Loincloth, it couldn't be a sheepskin loincloth. A sheepskin loincloth covering his hips and his legs. He held a few arrows in his hand, and a bow was placed beside him, of which only a few traces were left by termites. At his feet, a sacrificial ram is tied with a rope that goes around the archer's waist several times. Interesting. Ain't that crazy to look at? 18-year-old archer. They be doing that. Now he's going to compare this archer type to this photo from the Ramses. It says, detail of a Nubian archer depicted on a fresco from the temple of Amen at Biet el-Wali that describes the expedition of Ramisu II to Nubia. Okay? But what we need to point out is that there is definitely a connection now between the archers who came through to help Mentuhotep quell the problems he had between Anktefi and the Heracleopolis kings, or the Heracleopolis kings, right? And he had to go south. That's why his wives got names that sound different to people. Peace in the Middle East. Thanks for tapping into the show. Give a comment and give a like or give a whatever. Let me see. Sheepskin loincloth. Okay? Let's see this sheepskin. So was he fitted? At least he had made a sheepskin and he had a bow. He got buried. He didn't get put in a mass grave. Moreover, we cannot exclude that some archers were naked and did not wear the loincloth, as suggested by the engraving from Wadi Sabu at the Third Cataract, where a series of 6 archers wearing a feather on their head and rendering a figurative style. So we got the feather going all the way to the Third Cataract. So it ain't no something. It ain't no Nubians at all. We know that, right? But it just go those tribes. The Madjai had to go down to Kerma. Let's look at the land of Madjai. It had to go down to Kerma. If you look at the land of Madjai, I'm just going to put C group. And we should be able to find a map when we come to the university. Here we go. Maybe this was since I clicked it. Yeah, so look, okay. They got it way down there though. But that's making sense now. Because you can see how you could go south and stay along the river and never run into the Madjai. Right? But the same burial tradition, it comes, you know, funerary rites that we find in Kerma, we find in the Madjai tradition that they took into Egypt. So let me show you how Aaron DeSocia shows you. Gotta step your clip game up. Whenever you watch YouTube and somebody say something, get the clip so I can see where you got that from. Now, what is he about to show?
Western European scholars who somehow made Egypt appear more Mediterranean than African, that they were focused on the texts and the art, which were not something that they got from Nubia.
Oh, that ain't what I'm looking for. Let me show y'all something. Look. Now, what he's going to show you in red, as he's going to tell you, is how far up this culture spread.
It's important. As I said, for them, the river was the periphery. There's also a lot of Nubian evidence in Egypt. So on the screen, you can see a list of sites where there is some Nubian evidence from the earliest phases of Egyptian culture, or from the earliest phases of the Egyptian timeline, I should say, so the pre-dynastic period through to the beginning of the New Kingdom. And
from the pre-dynastic period through to the beginning of the New Kingdom, we find these sites called Nubian sites, but it ain't no thing called Nubian, right? These couldn't be Southerner sites because they're not living in the South. So all I'm going to say, man, these is Kushite sites. Eventually it's going to lead to that. Because how you going to make, you see how close Madjai was to, they wasn't Kushites, but did they speak something Cushitic? But I been knew Nubia didn't exist. Now it's just all the way dead. Because the people that I separated from the culture of Kerma by instruction of Egyptology and by geographic orientation, they are out of its way. And I do find attestation. Let me show you. See, it's attestations like this that I'm about to skip to that help me out. Because I ain't all the way wrong. Because watch this. Harkuf, right here, let me see. No. Harkuf is about to separate Cush from the Magi. I'm about to just open up the Zoom. We chilling. It's a Friday. Got work to do this weekend. And I always wanted to show this one too. It's in the Boston Museum of Fine Arts. Okay. Now, yeah, let's go to the Boston Museum of Fine Arts. I know this dude's name. Who's the dude's name on that inscription? How you don't know the dude's name on this inscription and you telling me Nubians wasn't Egyptians? What happened if I type his name here and it goes straight to him? Collections. Collection search. Dang, there you go. The other museum, I couldn't find the collection search at Cairo the other day. And my Hepri is at Cairo if you're going to Cairo. I know you know that, J-Mill. My Hepri is at Cairo. But let's search in here real quick. For who? A brother named, dang, his name popped up because I did the search before. There you go. Pop up, bro. Bow, there we go. Man, you got to know how to do this, man. You couldn't do that in 5 seconds while you watching that YouTube, huh? Well, all you got to do is look at the source right here and know what to say. Boston MFA, Museum of Fine Arts, number 03, 1848. Now, this will beat the brakes off pseudos. Oh, somebody wanted to debate about Nubians and Egyptians today? What if I pulled this up and say what this say? Oh, you see, that is not fair. You see, that's not fair because I don't read the language. Y'all see these Egyptians? Yes or no? Do y'all see this Egyptian stela? You see the, let's read the Medu Neter, but I don't need to see if y'all can see this Egyptian stela in the chat. Y'all see that? That's my man. And even his name tell you everything I tried to teach us. But if you didn't know my teachings, and this is just facts, I'm sorry to go this way, because I ain't never trying to be no master teacher. But if you don't know my teachings, you won't know this. Even I'll let the social doesn't know my teachings, so the social is not going to make any mention of what I'm about to show you. Shout out to the social, well-qualified scholar. I wish I was on his level. But let's listen.
So coming back to Nenu.
Well, you probably need to listen to this part too before. Well, he said something about Nenu first. Let's go to the beginning. He gonna break this all the way down for y'all. If you were to commission a portrait of yourself is the question, how would you be depicted? All right, let's see.
To commission a portrait of yourself, how would you be depicted? And to look at this question, we are going to talk about this object here called the Stela of Nenu, which is in the Boston Museum of Fine Arts. And it is dedicated to a guy named Nenu, who is described as a Nehesi. Nehesi means Nubian, and is dated to the First Intermediate Period, which is sort of about 2100 BC-ish. There's a number of stela of the same period in the museum here, which I had a look at today, which was really cool. And on the stela here, Nenu is depicted with his wife, and they are receiving offerings from their children, possibly from attendants also. He's carrying a bow with a quiver of arrows. He's also accompanied by hunting dogs, maybe. So he's presumably an archer. And the important point here is that he's described as a Nehesi, which we know is this generic Egyptian word that we would translate now as Nubian. So let's look at some of the features. So we have here some iconographic features that have denoted or been used to denote Nenu as Nubian. So the first thing we can...
So, ain't no real cultural separation here. The language he wrote about himself in was the Egyptian language. The garb he represented himself in is Egyptian garb. But the social does a very good job, so let me not interrupt. And I'm just going to add on with the reading parts.
Can see is that he is, well, first of all, he's called a Nubian or a Nehesi in the text.
So let's see if he is called a Nubian or if he calls himself a Nubian or how that transpires here. Now, in order to be able to see it as big as we need to see, I'm going to have to... come on, bro. No, we got to do... for educational purposes. Let me see. All right. Now we'll have to blow that up and get busy. So, also, if you commission the seller of yourself, not just the appropriate question he asked, how would you be represented, but also what text, who would come up with the text to show you how you're represented. Huh? And so, some of this is just so messed. When I look to the right over here, I can see it almost better than when I look straight ahead of me. But you can clearly see the N on top of here, right? You see the flax, the twisted flat H? Nay. Nay. So with a lot of these names, you don't have to go past the nay. You don't even need to put the S to say you're a Nubian. Even though all the way into the Bible we find pa nehesi. Think about the grammar. Nehesi, one from Nehes. Pa the. But pa nehesi in the Bible is Phineas. If your brain is blown away right now, just drop all the vowels and everything I just said. Pa Nehes, Phineas. It's the same thing. And so it comes from this right here, Nehes, which means Nubian. Now, we see a man down here, and this is hard to make. If y'all who read glyphs can make this, just make it and write it what it is in the chat. But one thing we do need to note is we don't see a representation with a throw stick saying anything about foreigner. Like I told y'all, you don't see that. You see Nehes, whatever this is, and probably a man holding something like a new ball. This was just me trying to make it. All right? Over here, this is not as easy to make when I get back here, but up here we see what appears to be, it looks like an N-Ka-N, but it's just an N-Ka, and then with this stroke going over here, that looked like the land. So why would this be in the spirit of the land? N-Ka-Ta, whatever this will be. Whoever want to help out, tell me and I'll open up a Zoom. And this is some car arms with something on top of it. So we would just have to make that right there. But the Nahes part is what I want y'all to see. That in the word that y'all thought meant Nubian, is proof here it don't mean Nubian because he a damn Egyptian. It would be more like I'm from the South, man. Now, the way he let us know is not only, look, this is what happens. You look at the vignette and you itemize the material culture in the vignette, just like a real scholar, dog. Look. This is how you do it. You don't have nothing in there that ain't identified and recognized, even though he overlooked. He said hieroglyphs, but he didn't read them for you guys. So I want to make a few points about this to let y'all see how it go down. And we can say whatever.
He has dark brown skin, or which is usually used to, or people usually think of as being something Nubian. He's wearing a sash, which is a Nubian style of dress.
Now, he said he has dark brown skin, which is something people think of as being Nubian, but let's look at what he was looking at when he said that. What y'all call reddish brown. Let me look at the snip. See, the dog and him and the some of his seeds was made from the same hue. Ain't no different hue. Even the dog, that's the same hue. Even the skirt right here. Right? This is what we call the traditional reddish brown of the Egyptian. But I like how De Sosa puts it. He said that's the brown of the Nubian.
Well, first of all, he's called a Nubian or a Nehesi in the text. He has dark brown skin, or which is usually used to, or people usually think of as being something Nubian. He's wearing a sash, which is a Nubian style of dress.
So let's stop. When you see the sash going to the front, as the scholar just showed us, think Nubian. Egyptian gonna have one going to the back trying to be like the king, then it's gonna be a bull tail. It's kind of like, oh, you wear your flag in your left pocket or your right pocket. Not really. Because only the king of the Egyptians will be allowed to wear this turned to the back. Something like this. Turn to the back. It wouldn't be a sash when you turn it around as representative of a tail. Or wear a similar item like that and turn it around.
He's carrying a bow and arrow, which is something that is also normally associated with Nubians, and also he's accompanied by dogs, which is also something that people think of as associated with Nubian archers and hunters.
So he said all of these things. Let's go back to the document about the Kerma archers, and tell me one thing that he mentioned that we don't find in these burials. Let's read what this says first. Grave of an archer and a woman with a stick from the Kerma ancient II phase, 2300, 2100 BC. Now let's stop there. That's lining right up. Let's go look at Mentuhotep. Let's see. $2,300. Man, this you can't make this stuff up. He died in 2013 BC. The time period of these archers, look, now watch all these time periods be the same. 2300 to 2100, 100 years before, or about 75 years before, or whatever, however many years before, 50, before he died, not before his time, before he died. So if he got old enough, he could have been living in this time. But this ain't what we tripping off, because we not trying to date him to these two archers in the grave. We trying to say that the material culture was prevalent during his lifespan, and he watched it spread into Egypt. So now what do we have in these graves? Everything that the social just described. We got the dog. We got the bow. And he really didn't have no pottery or nothing. So he wasn't all the way rich, this dude. But he had enough to have a dog and a bow. She just got a stick. Dog and a bow and an ostrich feather. Oh, I'm glad I seen that. Let's go back and look at the ostrich feather fan. Now we got the ostrich feather, so it's checkmate, right? Because I could prove that Egyptians didn't know Cushites, and when they thought of these other people to the south, they associated the ostrich feather with them before they met the Cushites. Who introduced them to the Cushites? Mentuhotep, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I'm showing y'all the evidence, but what was I coming here to show you? Something about Neh, N-E-H. Now, you're going to remember, you could go look at my old work and read it, absorb it, plan on trying to refute it, but you won't want to refute it. You're just going to want to share it. If I could go, Blue, this article has been shared all over the world. I ain't looked at my views on the articles in hella long, but it used to get read all over the world, and it's been sourced hella times. If you don't believe me, you could just go pop this right here in Google and find hell of people who sourced this work. That's me on top. Look, Egypt search. A conversation on the Hesse. Somebody using me to prove their point on Egypt search forums. What else? Nah, that ain't me. If it don't say that, there it go again. Did the ancient Egyptians hire Nubian warriors to help fight? They using my article to prove that. A conversation on Nessie. That's the Jonathan Owens I know. You feel me? All right, a few people used it. Well, let's look at that work. This was a good work. Piece of writing. Piece of research. And what I brought forward in this is something I need us to notice. When you got that nay, let's go into the Ancient Egyptian Dictionary. It ain't too many words formed with a nay that don't give an indication towards the south. Funerary rites and funerary tradition come up out the south. All of the precursors, and so prayer comes out the south. But how could I say that? I'm going to go to the TLA. And if I don't remember the neighbor, I'm going to slap myself. So I'm going to come down here and put G21. Got to remember that, right? So that's the neighbor. Now, all of these people was Nubians, I'm telling you, because I'm a boss. Not all of the personal names. Argue against me about that. His name is M-E-M, Hot. So he could be Amen of the foremost, or Amen in front, and then we got Nehi. Okay? So what they did here was form the Nisbah to talk about this personal name, this person, but they didn't have to say Nehes. Like I told you, you don't have to say Nehes. You drop that Ne, you rocking the South. But not, in most instances. Now look, this one is not, this is eternity. All right? But let's talk about that for a little bit. What was Ta-Seti's other name? One of Ta-Seti's other names. The one people ain't gonna know right now. But it's on Wiki. So if you want to go look at the Wiki, I need some music. If you want to go look on the Wiki, go ahead. What was Tasseti's other name? Well, I think Tasseti's other name was the Frontier. When my man, I'm supposed to remember his name, but he went for Sinroset, and it wasn't Amenemhat. He was trying to please Amenemhat and Sinroset, and he went to the end of the earth. He said, not Ta Mary, but I was thinking Ta Kentet. It's just one of the unknown names. It was back when Middle Egypt would be called the interior. When Sinaway, in the story of Sinaway, when they had just started calling it Kemet, when the king returned, when the king told Sinaway he could come back, he told him to come to Kenu. You're welcome to come back to Kenu. Kenu is the interior, represented by a cow with the head cut off. So now we understand the difference between Kenu and Kenet. Ta Kenet is the frontier. So let me open up the dictionary to substantiate what I'm saying. But this is just what I just have observed. So, you know, the area, you know what we mean by frontier, you know, like you never know what's beyond this point, so to speak. So it's evident to what I'm saying that the Egyptians is telling us in their lexicon that they didn't even know what was past Tasseti. But I'm making this evident for a reason. Some did, some didn't. Now let's go. The ones who did is the ones who espoused the material culture of the South, and then they call it cultural entanglement. So even if we take this and know that this is actually a sound or whatever, but this ain't the word I'm looking for. It's gonna be a X, a N, and a T. I should have just put that, but I want to just go about frontier. Now we got the Tosh, right? So also, even Sinroset the first and the third went to Tasseti, and they stretched what was called the Tosh Resi, or the southern border. But you see this word for frontier here, but I want to keep going. I want to find the one I want. And if not, I could have just opened the wiki, but this should be a better qualified source than wiki. But I didn't even do a wiki. I just said wiki. All right, so here go the other one is showing you. So before, I just spoke on this one, so since it popped on the screen, let me show it. The interior, the inside is kin. It could be Kenu. This was one of the, it wasn't like a name of Kemet, because Kemet didn't have no name like that. I mean, it had a name, but they was like, so do Ta Mary come before Kemet? I think it do in my memory, but I think they occur about the, Ta Mary may be 11th dynasty too. But we see the interior, so let's look for the frontier or borderlands. I ain't got that, so now I gotta go to a less qualified source. Just so you can see. So why am I trying to show what said that? Because in this word for forever, I still see the Nahi that indicates south, but it's just saying south for forever. But it ain't Nahi ain't always in the sense of direction, right? So I don't want nobody to take that wrong. But I just was simply showing how that was possibly still in there. I don't know if this naked right here, if this is a naked, but they got a nay with a T and an N. So they said his name was Akit Nayet-E. Nayet-Ni. Like, but this, when I see a regular naked like this transliterated, I would be thinking power. But we see this glyph here, and so I can't give it that. If I had to say what I know it say, but y'all Egyptology won't qualify this. This is like his life belonging to the South or coming from the South. But this is not a word for South, so don't let me mess that up for you. I'm going to show you how it's giving indications of the South. Now here we go right here. Look. And another personal name that we could break down grammatically in late Egyptian. Look. Pa-Nesi. Pa-na-hesi. Well, they wrote Pa-ne-si. Now, don't be confused, right? Because this is going to confuse people. Oftentimes, ancient Egyptians who were ancient Egyptians from the South, they would get given this name. And Egyptologists won't transliterate it as Nahesi because it's going to give it away. This is all just transliteration. We don't know where the vowels went. So why they ain't saying Nahesi here? Let's go to the glyphs. N, H, S, I, N, E, H. So they just injected this E and didn't inject the next E, so it wouldn't say Nahesi. So you got to know that Nessi is another name for a Nubian. So now you're going to find all of the other ones because there's another one, Ne-E. But see, ancient Egyptians did this too, and I'm not. Well, look, everything I'm showing you is grammatically sound. Pa-Nahesi literally back. Let's go into the grammar. Pa is giving you the definite article from late Egyptian, the. Okay? Not an indefinite like a Nubian. No, this is the Nubian. Pa. Now you take the N, the H, and the S is the root. You got Nahes, south. You put an I on the end and you make it into a person. So this is literally Phineas from your Bible. If I go to Phineas right here, it's going to say Pa-Nahesi. But you should be able to see that by taking out the vowels when I just type Phineas. Ancient Greek. Why they do this to belittle you. They're gonna show you the Hebrew, then the Tiberian, and the ancient Greek. But some sources are gonna show you the ancient Egyptian. There you go, right there. See, so why didn't they put this up there? Phineas from the Bible. Let's look and see what it says. The name Phineas probably comes from the Egyptian name Pa-Nahesi. And Pa-Nahesi means the Nubian. Because we know what Nahesi is, and we know what the is. It literally says the Nubian when I hover over it on the screen. Look. It says, and the Bible and Egyptian Nubian names for the land of its people. For the Egyptian use of these color variations, the term for the southern neighbor was Nahes. Color variation. Now this is a complete lie right here. Look. See, this is Egyptology about to kick in on Wiki. For the Egyptians used these color variations. What color variations? Nahes isn't a color. The term for the southern neighbor was Nahesi. That's right, southerner. But look at this, which eventually came to mean black. No, that's not right. In Egyptology, it never became to mean that to the ancient Egyptian. I can go through the text corpus. There's not going to be one time when Nahesi is translated to mean black. In Egyptology, you look at the Egyptological dictionary and say, what does Nahes mean? It'll say Nubian. If you look up Nubian, it'll say Negro. If you look up Negro, it'll say black. That's all Egyptology, bro. This Egyptian root, Nahes, with the performative P as a definite article, appears in Exodus 6:25. Okay, Phineas. Now let's go back to where we was at, Pa-Nahesi. But I ain't saying it's the same person. Pa, the, Sajim is to hear. But I thought this was a naked for strength, but naked don't never have that in it. And since this is a personal name, it's hard to see. So this is another Phineas, but they're not giving it to us all the way. Pa-Ne, or Pa-Ne. Since this is a person, this is Pa-Nehi. Pari Pa-Nehi. Either the coming forth or the Nubian. Y'all don't like that? All right, I'm going to teach you why in a minute. The place of eternity, a necropolis. So this is just the Nehi, eternity bird, which I linked to the frontier of where people said dang, I gotta look that up today. It was Simroset's assistant who said he sailed to the end of the world past Kush. I think the terminology was to the furthest extent was possibly Nehi, but we could look and see if that's true or not. I think I might have just made up that he said Nehi there, but he did say that though. Because my memory, when I go through my neurons, I wouldn't bet that it said that there. Let me see. Here we got again. Another Nisba just formed off the Nay bird. This is just southern indications. But if we don't want to take Nay-E as just as Nahes-E or Ness-E, these are just variations on the name, bro. There is. Because what we have here, now I need to just bust it open, that if we take multiple disciplines to substantiate what we're talking about, we're going to look into the taxonomy of the glyph that they're using to make these statements. Particularly Gardner 21. The Nay bird, which is a non-migratory terrestrial Numidiae guinea fowl. And don't be confused by the name Numidiae because it got took over there. Shout out to Geechee Gullah for sharing that book with me, that work with me on the Numidiae guinea fowl. Because that make you think of Numidia. This guinea fowl, original taxonomy, its habitat, and let me show you. Numidiae guinea fowl, which habitat was what? Did I have that open already? Yeah, right here. I had to teach them this 15 years ago. Let me see. And it's still public. And nobody refuted it because it's the truth. And even in this article is when, shout out to Six Fingers, when we connected the Mahasi with the Nahesi. And the Egyptology don't even want to face that to this day. Dang, maybe it was a prior article to this. I wrote a couple articles on this. Let me put Nay again. Yeah, it was the first article. December 13th, 2012. 11 years ago. Now, this is what we have to notice. And for the people who be like, you need to know the meaning of the glyphs. Yeah, when you want to go as deep as I'm going right here. True. Because the Egyptological books ain't going to tell us this. I built on the work of Sir Alan Gardner and others to figure this out. So I'm going to read what I wrote because it might be presented better back in the day. How does the term Nahes imply southerner? Ta-Nehesi is south of Egypt. See, I will fix that right now. I will say Ta-Nehesi is south Egypt. But I said it's south Egypt. But I said this right. Let me just read it. Ta-Nehesi is south of Egypt, north of Kush. Two main cities in Ta-Nehesi were both called Nebu. So I did say Nebu. I did say that because those is in Egypt. So cool. Nebu and Nubuet or Nubiet. Both cities are named after gold. Egyptians traveled upstream to reach lower Nubia for gold. Again, Egyptians traveled upstream to reach lower Nubia for gold. Every time I say lower, think about the butt or the shoes or what's under your feet. When I say upper, think about your head, your face, and what's on top of your head. So when I say upper Egypt, think like that. And when I say lower Egypt, think like a fart that these Mediterraneans in the Delta. Yeah, like that. Lower Egypt. And so when I talk about lower Nubia, think the same way. The butt of Nubia is facing the face of Egypt. In order to get to the head or the top or the tippy top of Egypt, Nubia, you got to go south more. See, they explained that for years in hella ways, but I just had to do it in the normal way that we understand stuff. Because don't nobody want no butt in their face, right? So if the butt of Egypt is facing the Mediterranean and everything that was thought of happens in the head, in the founding places, this is exactly how it happened. But look, Egyptians traveled upstream to reach lower Nubia. Now y'all understand that hella easy. Egyptians knew gold could be found in the southern lands of Ta-Nehesi. All of that's working. But, you know, now that they stretching Ta-Nehesi a little south more, it ain't being stretched too much south more. I always had it going to about the second cataract. Nubian desert. All the way over the Nab Playa. Nubian desert. But, whatever. Because it was the southern people of Ta-Nehesi, Mena of Nup, where'd I get that from? Who established Kemet. Let me see if I can find something on that. What are they say something about Mena of Nup? You know I don't be just writing stuff in articles. Oh, no, I got too much on it. Let me see what I can. Mena, Egypt. Let's see if somebody say that. Mena, because if Mena was Narmer, then they got him a few nomes above Nup. You know, you learn stuff after 13 years. But at the town, ancient city of Nup, Nakata. So let me see, Mena, Nakata. Yeah, I'm getting close because Nakata is, I'll be hard. Nakata is only 3 nomes away from where they say Narmer came from. Mena, N-A-Q-A-D-A. I love looking at my old research. I was way more into this back in the day. Now we just sit around and fight and don't write nothing. Don't nobody write nothing. Nakata label in the identification of Mena. Man, don't play with me. Yeah, the water flows down. Exactly, look. And so if we, I never tried to explain it as south is north and north is south because I did some work that showed that that necessarily wasn't true on the Houthi. In the was it Kadesh or Megiddo? In the Battle of Kadesh, Ramses, right? He had to make it to Aleppo, and he put the directions in the battle. I'm gonna play that video. So, and this should be useful for my people because in understanding the orientation, it's flipped the way you said it, right? But if you say it that way, it won't ring true to the ancient Egyptian. Let me show you what I mean. I got a video called Tunip, T-U-N-I-P, to Aleppo, or Aleppo. But back then, I was saying Aleppo. I kind of was doing it on purpose, but nah, that sounds so bad at this day when I listen back to this video. But I want
peace. What's up?
I want everybody who deal with the orientation of Kemet to trip off what my brother Dahudi is saying, how the water flows down. We know it flows from south to north. This is one of the only rivers that do that. It's others that do that, but this is one of the only ones. It flows from south to north, right? So when you're going upstream, you're going south. But that would make us confused and say south is north and north is south. But this will clean it up right here. It's only 3 minutes. Just excuse the way that I'm saying Aleppo here.
Peace. What's up? Yo, I just want to talk about a few things. What I want to talk about is up-south orientation. You see, because some don't understand the Kemetic perspective on geographical orientation. All one has to do is refer to primary text to know the term Reshi for south indicates what we call south today, and the term Mehet, which indicates north, indicated north. From the perspective of the person living in Kemet. Now, if we look at Ramses' inscription of the Battle of Kadesh, we can see clearly I highlighted a few locations for us, and we can use our dictionaries to see the proximity of these places. But the one I want you to focus on is Aleppo, north of Tunip. So let's talk about this. Tunip to Aleppo. This was north from the Kemetic perspective, and it still says north on modern maps. As you see, it's a 2-hour and 34-minute drive north from Tunip to Aleppo. Now, if we look at the text, it says Herbu, okay? It says Herbu. Why don't you look up XRB in a dictionary and find out, since you don't have to use dictionaries, you already know that this means Aleppo. Now it says Kebu, Hor, Ne, Mehet. And if you work this out, you're going to find out this is Tunip. Okay? Tunip. So this is Aleppo, north of Tunip. Now look at the map. Don't you see Aleppo, north of Tunip? So this is a primary source that shows us Ramses' Battle of Kadesh. Okay, they used the term that indicates north now, and it indicated north years ago. So from Tunip to Aleppo. So basically,
the orientation is south was up, north was down. And so in order to remember this for myself, I just titled it South Up Orientation. They had a south up orientation. South was still south and north was still north, but south was up. So right now, we always go down south. That's just in the grain because we're Eurocentric. Ancient Egyptians didn't go down south. Ancient Egyptians went up south. See what I mean? And so, yeah, that's what I was. Thanks for that moment.
As any of us can see, and anyone can use their Medu dictionaries, if you don't know these words, because how else would you use them? You can simply parse the words or parse the terms that I'm giving you and see if...
I'm bringing that music back. That's the old Magi music.
primary sources attest to Egyptians' north being the same as our north.
So if you remember it the way I remember, we'll never forget it. If you just coming across this concept, watching this video, I just titled it Up South Orientation. And because I confused this for hella times, and this video is a result of an argument that I got in with some people in a Medu Neter group. I'm wondering, if you go look at the biggest Facebook groups with like 200,000 people and say Medu Neter, you're going to see Jonathan Owens as a moderator. And all of the biggest ones since back in the day. Because we started them groups when it was like 12 people that was online doing Medu Neter. And none of us was good, but we all had the ambition. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be going back like, damn, there's hella people in this group. Matter of fact, I'm going to start, oh my God, I'm going to start sharing my videos in the big ass group. 50 billion people trying to talk about the Medu Neter. I'll do that right now. Hold on. No, I ain't going to do it right now. But we learned
brothers
that, right?
and sisters.
So let's go back. What was we talking about that made us go there? We was breaking down the neighbor. See, when we see stuff like this, we got to see a whole lot. Even when we read this up here, we see why he doing what he doing, but we'll talk about that next. All right? But I don't want to get lost. So Mena of Nupe was correct because we found a Nakata label in the identification of Mena. Nupe is the town of gold. So this is what the Egyptologists did, and remember, they won't teach you this no place either. I'm just identifying what information is unique to my research and my channel, and that's true and valuable. And that I package up so well that you can always wield it out like a sword, and you got it. Now listen. The Nakata label, Nakata is northern Nubia. Well, let me take you to the map. This is why they had to do this, and this is why the scholars is unraveling this work. Let me show you. I'm going to say known map. Now, I'm stretching it only 2 nomes behind further than what Egyptology actually teaches. And I'm going to show you why I'm qualified in doing that. Because, man, read the glyphs, y'all. Everything else, like if you got the propensity and you really want to talk about this shit, everybody else who don't read the glyphs, don't even listen to them. Listen to them like an audio book or something. Because they could never tell you this. It'll be hard to beat if the ancient name for Nakata was actually Nupe. Now, wouldn't it? Now, we found in the ancient language that the ancient name of the city that they say the first ancient Egyptians come from has the root of Nubia to it. It'd be an issue, wouldn't it? So that's why Narmer came from Nakata. Nakata is Nupe, and Nupe, wet, as I'm about to show you here. Nupe, wet, as I maintain by the evidence I'm putting forth, was the northern border of Egyptian Nubia. Not border, because border is some more white shit. So let's stop thinking like that. Wasn't no damn line nowhere. If you got beef, that's the border. If you don't got beef, ain't no border. It's just like when you go outside. Come on, dog. You got borders in your own damn hood. I can't go over there. Soon as I walk down that street, it's on. So it's kind of like them was tribal borders, not no damn borders like a line in the sand until we get till the 12th dynasty. Because I only deal with primary shit. Attestation, excuse my language. I only deal with primaries. Show me a border that somebody couldn't cross. Well, a neuron just fired off. It's one before Simroset, the first. Because you got to remember, Simroset then wanted to expand the borders. Didn't know what that means. Actually, it was a Nubian king that they didn't even want to act like existed. Bro, we don't even know. You ain't going to learn about none of this in Egyptology right here, as you would know about what I'm about to show already. And when I hit you with it, you're not about to know this. Harsiotef. Harsiotef. Told you. Harsiotef. Kushite king of Meroe. First of all, why the hell is this all a language we can read? Because they was Egyptianized, huh? There go your Egyptocentrism. Nowadays, modern scholars, especially from the field of Nubiology, is teaching that ancient Egypt was not even, ancient Egypt was Egyptocentric, but North Africa wasn't. Like the Nubians was on their own hype, and Egyptians was more on the Nubians' hype than Nubians was on the Egyptians' hype. But see, let's be fair, they were both valuable to each other. I don't want to misrepresent that. Like, oh, the Nubians was big wigs, and the people who lived in the north who formed the tribe. Let's think tribal for a minute. Stop thinking DNA. DNA don't say shit about tribes. What the hell is your problem? Don't you know? Don't you see how we keep breaking up on YouTube? Forming new divisions and shit? Because your ideology changed and you ain't rocking with them no more? That happened in the real world, and that was tribal separations. So, when the people to the north said, we ain't doing that, and the people to the south said, we still doing that, we get a split that we know as Egyptians and Nubians. And you can see some difference in the DNA. Well, the one tribe that was closer to where more people could come in and they had established economy, after 3,000 years, of course you can. But saying that this was, I'm just showing you on the goddamn map, you refute this with DNA. Archaeology says Nakata 1 is the oldest extraction of ancient Egyptians. Here I'm showing you in the Medu Neter, the name for that place is Nub Wet. In the ancient Egyptian language, the root to Nub Wet is Nub, gold. This is still the root to the word Nub, that the Greeks made up. It was significant, it signified the regions of gold. Now here we have the northern region of gold that got tapped. They rocked this spot, and I got evidence of that because I do the homework. So they rocked this spot, got all the gold up out of there. This is the northern, as I put forth, border of Egyptian Nubia. Now, as I don't put forth, Egyptology says right here was the northern border of Egyptian Nubia, so I'm not off. You can't say shit about that. I'm no place close to off. I'm showing them I got more homework than them because this word don't got nothing to do with that. Yet the two gnomes above do. And y'all still want to see this as a pillar, I'm going to let y'all do that. But the word Awenu for some strange enough reason, translates back to bowmen. I win Nui. I win to you. I win to you. The root is IWN. So you could call this a pillar all day, but it translates back to bowman, not pillar people. So who was the bowman? I thought that was the Nubians. Well, it's strange enough that in modern Egyptology, this is the third known. Everything under Thebes is considered Egyptian Nubia. All right, not everything under Thebes. Everything under Thebes to the first cataract. This whole big circle is considered. Now, if we go to the border of Egyptian Nubia, when we started telling you this was the frontier, the Tash Resi or the Takentet, the land of the frontier, now we're going to see why. Because if we come to the name, it's very similar to the name of the damn other place, Nakata. The only difference is a Y or a W. Noob yet. Now let's read the Medu Neter. Noob, like it say the same thing. Noob, some might say noob E. Now that's what's gonna make you be hella mad. How we got a Y right here and this ain't newbie? Nubiet. Shut up. That's what make me hella mad. You use your damn brain and tell me how you gonna pronounce a Y around here without saying E. You're gonna be fake and say neb, noob, wet, noob, yet. Egyptology speak. If this was to represent a I sound, a Y sound, and we see it here, and it's behind a B, we got newbie. Now, let me finish doing the work. Thanks to Professor Sandro Capo-Chichi for teaching me in words that were ancient Egyptian, that go into the Coptic, where the T falls off. We should expect to hear a what? A I sound. So that means that this noob E would have still been noob E in Coptic. Right? I didn't get to get, I don't know, I'm just going to keep on going on my hype right here. You feel me? Now, my man is on the stream, and he say, I'm going to be at Edfu in 2 hours. So this where you're going to be right here. I'm looking at the map, bro. Dang, you hecka far. You standing right there. Take some pictures of where you were standing when I said this. Now, look. My point is, they are telling you, the ancient Egyptians is telling you, that these two regions are associated. Nome number one, you see gold, a gold necklace. They want to call it a neck collar piece. African American out. This is your medallion. What's the difference? So this the gold neck piece. It literally is. It represents the N and the B in noob. Here we had a phonetic complement, the B. Okay, it's complementing the B in this biliteral. So it's just not, you don't say noob-boo-boo. You just say one B. You could just take this as the N if you can't understand that. But this actually represents two consonants. So NB, Y, the two reed leaves, new B, T. How do you connect a Y, a I, and a T? Nubiet. But they don't like that. Then what do we say then? Regardless, please note that this is number one, the first known. This place was called, as I'll show you over here, number 1, Ta-Seti. Okay? The land of the bow. Man, I know I'm putting hands on some college professor somewhere. They should just snatch me up at some school. Straight up. I'll go battle the professor because I ain't doing all that other stuff. All right, let's just give us an hour in front of the board and let us build and let 10 students be in there too and see who they're going to learn it best from. They only got a semester. I'm a fill their brain up. 1 semester, thank you. Noob yet, but yeah, that's how I do it traditionally, my brother Tahuti. Noob yet when I'm not mounting this argument because that's traditional. And then why, you know what I'm saying? And some might even put an E in between the B, noob yet. You know what I'm saying? But we still see how close the actual original name of the area is to Nubia. But some tried to say that it wasn't. But still, we still see that this area, when it comes to veneration, they actually venerate the land of the bow. I mean, this is a standard. So they didn't venerate Heru. See, this is what we'll learn here. My story worked, bro. This is divine knowledge. This is the shit people be teaching and selling. Pseudos will take this shit and have them make $1 million. I'll be just trying to get a cash app. Look, let me show you something. This is Ta-Seti, the land of the bow. Noob wet. A place Egyptians knew they could get gold. Egyptology today says Egyptian Nubia would stop around Todd, or whatever Todd is, but below Thebes, the known below Thebes, Heracleopolis, right? But archaeologists say Nakata, the first people who set up Egypt and founded Egypt, as we just seen Mena from Nakata, they say they came from Nakata, and these was 2 different people groups. Look, let me show you how close that is. These was so these would be your Mediterraneans and shit. Like, y'all don't know how dumb y'all argument is. These is the, people so, oh man, I didn't learn this stuff till later either, so I don't want to have that condescending tone, but I be in the face of opposition of this information. So let me just rock out. I ain't talking to the people who know this shit is right. I'm talking to them dumbass motherfuckers. Excuse my language, I don't even care. They stupid. They thought when they said the battle between Upper and Lower Egypt was a battle between up here and down here. Bozos. Why don't you read some homework? This is why people don't put no homework on their shows. The battle between upper and lower, guess what? The further scholars say that I don't want to say consensus because they're rewriting Egyptology. But the newest qualified information says that they came from Nakata and didn't even go up first. The formation in Egypt happened way down here in the head, not in the butt up by the delta. Nakata, Normanam, Menanam went down first and got in the beef. They didn't go up first. Now, I want to show you the other theory. And this theory is not well qualified. Some argue about this Thinis, the Thinite Confederacy. It's just a misunderstanding of prehistoric Egypt. There's a lot to the claims about the Thinite Confederacy. But let's just say Thinis is still imaginary. Thinis ain't on the map right here. Man, I told you, you'll get more in one of my shows than you're going to get every place else. Y'all thought Thinis was there whenever they talk about the Thinite Confederacy, just tell them what I just showed you. Thinnest remains undiscovered. Must I read more? I don't even must I read no more. Thinnest remains undiscovered. But it's well attested by ancient writers, including the classical historian Manetho, who cites the center of thinnest confederacy, a tribal confederacy, Mena and Narma, who united Egypt. So all they trying to do is scoot it up north, Mo. See? See? How you got it right here, way more up north, when Narmer got a seal that say he was from Nupe. Or they don't say he was from Nupe. They got a Nupe inscription of Narmer. Nevertheless, what you should pull from this segment of the show is that the battle between Upper and Lower Egypt transpired in what we know as Upper Egypt today, in Egyptian Nubia. Anybody want to try to refute that? The battle for Upper and Lower Egypt went like this. These dudes thought they was hard from Upper Nubia, Nubwet. Let me just say this properly. That's not Upper Nubia. It would be closer to Lower anyway. But think about, don't let your brain make you think I'm pushing forward some anachronisms. I'm in the time period I should be in. We all in prehistoric times here. All right? And so when Egypt, they hadn't even took over the Delta stuff yet. They down here. Now, if you go to any archaeological source, I'll just Google Nakata, they're going to tell you this the oldest Egyptians. Ancient Egypt, look at Papa. Oh, I just thought I put Nakata. But I ain't doing that with every dang thing. You just got to learn. Nakata is the oldest extraction of Egyptians excavated by James Breasted, right? Right? Man, now you got me want to do it. Breasted, B-R-E-S-T-E-D. Nakata Breasted, bro. But man, what is going on with my searches? Why is it all these extra words? Let me just stop this and do it again. Nakata Breasted. Yeah, man, that's Breasted. If that wasn't Breasted, I'm tripping. Breasted and Riser, bro. James? What is his name? Yeah, that's James Breasted. James Henry Breasted. Now, it was Breasted, and now y'all got a peep game. When they first got to Egypt, they was fighting over who could excavate what. And then they came, Breasted and Reisner. All right? Breasted and Reisner. They came to some conclusions that, all right, look, we ain't excavating the same stuff, bro. You think I'm playing? You got to read some of these books. They had beef. Breasted with the Harvard crew now. He wasn't back then. He set up the Oriental Institute. So Breasted had to fly to Germany to get his degree under Erman and them. Then he came back and set up the Oriental Institute. All right. He, the one who said Nakata and them was Egyptians. Then Reisner had permission to do the excavations in around Kom Ombo for another university, I can't remember. And he said that these was Nubians, okay? It was those two who esteemed over there, so promoted by the work that they was doing, who wanted to separate what they was doing so much too, that they started coming up with classifications that make their work hella different from each other, which affect the archaeology. You wind up thinking the stuff that Breasted label is all with one race of people, and the stuff that Reisner label was part of some other people. But it didn't go like that. If you look at the map, you see how damn close they was. Now it's Maria Gatto, and I always get my sources. It's Maria Gatto who teaches, and she's in the Oxford Handbook of Nubia, by the way. She ain't no lightweight. She teaches in the Oxford Handbook of Nubia that, well, in her own work, that it was the Nakadians, or the, I don't want to call them that, that's a fake name. It was the people, it was the Nubwetiu, all right? It was the Nubwetiu, that would be the most accurate name for them that I could think of. It was the Nubwetiu who came down to take over. See, this is what y'all got to remember. Y'all still got that Eurocentric orientation. So they was going up. They just going down to us right now. To them, they was going back to the heart of things, trying to take stuff over. And they got hands put on. Toes and flows. So they say Narmer is from here. He didn't get hands put on. But here's the thing. There's no way Narmer came down and, as Gatto mentioned, started to fight with these people. Maybe they came to something and then they all headed back up. But the initial thing was for the Nakadians, or the Nubwetiu, the people from Nubwet, to push south. And apparently they had a fight with the people of Nubyet, or Nubyetiu. You feel me? Hold on one second. Hello? All right, let me see. So then, I mean, I kind of, where was I at? Anyway, y'all can see that. Oh, boy. Now, if I come to the document and show y'all where I was really originally talking about, I don't know how far back that is. All right, this bird, let's look at his habitat. We can also see this bird is using the word nay to pray, and in eternity, nehi. It says there are not a lot of Egyptian words that use the nay bird, but there are others. The Numidiai guinea fowl are not indigenous to Egypt. Specifically, the nay bird is a helmeted guinea fowl, Numidiai malagris, which are only found south of Egypt. Numidiai guinea fowl are the Ethiopian stock, says Wildlife of the World, a descriptive survey of the geography by Richard Leiker, or whatever. All right. Bird maps indicate the first place Egyptians would have encountered the nay bird was in Ta-Nehesi, or even further than Ta-Nehesi if we really look at the map, but we're going to look at it. And this is from Taxonomy, Faciousness, or whatever, Fascianus, Malagris, Linnaeus. All right, just a book about birds, an old book about birds in there, still a qualified one though, about birds and their habitat. So y'all can look right there and see that nay bird, which was in the hieroglyphs at the beginning of the glyphs, as early as we could find it. In my memory is in the word for nehi, for eternity. So that go all the way back. The bird that they use to form the nay sound in those words would not have been witnessed by Mediterraneans. They would have never even knew what that bird looked like. But they got it in their glyphs. That bird would have never even been seen by anyone in Nabta. Let this map tell it. It's cutting off right above the Horn of Africa, a little bit up into the Red Sea, not far up into the Sudan. You feel me? Y'all see that? The bird, which represents the nay sound, is not indigenous to the Mediterranean. It's not indigenous to Egypt. The people who used that bird for the nay sound in the Medu Necher had to have witnessed it. It's simple. One could propose that they witnessed this non-migratory terrestrial bird through trade. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, we are. All right, cool. So the question is, when they formed the word for forever that we could find going back to some of the oldest ancient Egyptian writings, and they used a bird that was from that its habitat goes as far down as South Africa, but it don't go up into the Sahara. It don't go up into the desertous areas. It don't go up into Egypt. How do you propose they got that bird in there? It's not a good question. It's an easy question. The bird I'm speaking of is called Gardner. If you want to look it up on the Gardner sign list, it is Gardner 21, G21. It is a Numidian guinea fowl used in the word for Nehesi, which they say means southerner, and I'm trying to show people how that word indicates southerner. It's formed on a glyph that isn't used in a lot of words, and a lot of the words it is used in can be attributed to the South. I can find links to prayer to the South. We know the whole funerary and tradition comes out the South. We know the burial rites and everything attached to that type of stuff that was Southern culture first. So the word nay is a nay word to pray. Now all of the personal names, Nesi, Nehesi, Nehi, and all of those type of names, I'd bring it. And all of those type of names relate back to just meaning the Nubian or Nubian of the sort. In the same way, Kim relates to, well, people want to say, oh, well, see, here's the thing. Nubian ain't a real thing. So if I said that, I was being misleading. It kind of like relates back to Southerner. So I hate to sometimes get caught up in the layman's terms that we're forced to use so people know what we're talking about. But the point here is being made that they did use a bird that came from down here to write a name of some people that came from the South. Right? Now, all of the names ain't Nehesi for the people that are Nubian. Meaning, if I just put Nehi Nubian, he gonna pop up for y'all. Look. Nehi Nubian. See, Viceroy Kush. Now y'all starting to see what I could just show you so easily? That you don't even need the SE. You just need the neighbor, and you already in control of all the whole area of Kush. Not like that, but that's a joke. The person named Nahi, I'm telling you he's a Nubian. They're telling you he was in control of the Nubian provinces, but I'm showing you another way to understand that. Just by seeing the Nay in his personal name. So what did they do? They formed a Nisba off that Nay bird. They're not calling him a bird, a Nay bird. They saying you related to the Nay, Nahi. You from the South, bro. But whatever. That's just a different way that they're saying it. And there's plenty of these. I showed you Phineas. I showed you Nahi. Now let's show you another one. Just put an S right here. We seen this one too. Nessie, Nubian. Why the word Nubian always be here? Nubian descent. So it's not me doing this. We can clearly see when you get the Nay, you dealing with something from the South a little bit. Right? But not Nubian, because again, that just means South. But again, let's continue. I said the term. Now, you got to remember when we're looking in this 23, this is a 2023 document. Now, notice here. Reisner did do excavations way down here. Remember I said Reisner had more Sudan authority? And it says Reisner got 1915, 1916 cemetery in, but he didn't find nothing. Look, he excavated in this area when all the stuff was over here. Sorry for him. But it looks like Honegger in 2008 and 2018 just found this stuff right here. So all these graves that we talking about was just found in 2008. Some of them in 1980 to 1997 by Bonnet. All right. So when we see this material culture that connects us to the Madjai people and with all this stuff, the Kermit people doing the same thing that this dude is doing, not Nessie, but Ninu. So I didn't connect that Ninu, but I need to look at how they spell his name. It's Ninu, Nubian. And I'm like, why they all be having an N on their name? Look, Stella of the Nubian soldier, Ninu. He didn't have it, but I didn't look to see if Ninu, this is the one we've been looking at. Now, I never even looked into his name to see if that Ninu could be in, it could be Nenu. But let's look and see. So if anybody see a Ninu on here, so let's just read it now. And this is also something else to trip off of. Look who he got on the standard. I'm about to have to get ready to go to do some work, so I want to say thank you to all the contributors of the show. And if I'm going to show y'all plenty of good ways to support this channel. This is the fastest, most growing channel in the last 15 years I've been on YouTube. So it's really been a long ass time just to get 81 people looking at the information. So shout out to y'all for tapping in. Well, if you look at when I started my page, it was actually 2006, yo. It'd be hella funny. I started putting Metal Nature on my page in 2010. You feel me? I ain't out just yet, but I'm about to be out though. But we about to do some final talking about Ninu's stele. And I was going to try to look and see if I could see whether his name was Ninu or Nenu. Because let's just see. So one of the first things I want to talk about is we're going to see this here. He not giving honor to Asar. Exactly. He's not giving honor to Asar, or he could be giving honor to a different form of Asar. Let's see what time period this is. See, first intermediate period. I keep telling y'all this right in Mentuhotep's time. This is when all these dudes came bum rushing up, but they was Egyptians as he represented himself. Well, look. If we started over here, we just got a traditional offering scene about to take place, but it gets different right when you get to this this D. So we got what's called a Hotep D Nisut, but it's read kind of backwards. The Hotep is in the middle, the Nisut is first, and the D or the give right here is actually last, but it's transposed this way for some strange reason. Now, it's not honorific because there's nothing to honor in there. The Nisut should be honored, maybe, so I should take that back. Now, right here, it appears to be, first off, I'm going to say it appears to be Anpu on the standard. It appears like a traditional jackal on the standard, and we also know this is a different form of Osiris. Kenti Amentiu, the foremost of the Westerners. But they didn't write that out here, and it could be in a sense of time or space that they didn't write that out. They just said offering to this jackal nature. Again, it could be Anpu, Anubis. It could, now I want to throw, this doesn't look like a set animal, so I don't even want to throw that in there. But you got to remember, before Anpu rocked the jackal, who rocked the jackal? All right, let me show you. A-H-E-N-T-I-A-M-E-N-T-I. Ooh, Kenti, I'm into you, rock the jackal. Now you see the jackal? Kenti Amentiu in other spellings is an ancient Egyptian deity whose name is also used for the title of Osiris and Anubis. Okay? But he existed before Osiris as Kenti Amentiu alone. The name of the foremost of the Westerners, do you hear the TU on his name? See? Amen. Amenta. Amentiu. Foremost of the Westerners. Chief of the, maybe I'll end this in 3 minutes or 30 minutes. Chief of the Westerners, where Westerners refer to the dead. I wouldn't take that away. It could be so. Kenti Amentiu was depicted as a jackal-headed deity in Abydos in Upper Egypt, who stood guard over the city of the dead. Kenti Amentiu is attested in early as Abydos, perhaps even earlier than the unification of Egypt at the start of the early dynastic period, 3100 BC to 2686. The name appears in the necropolis. Well, excuse me. The name appears on the. Oh, you know what this looks like? This look like when they used to be having and people reading in the 60s or the 50s for a radio show, and you could look at them reading. Now look at this. The name appears in the necropolis cylinder seal for the first dynasty pharaoh, Din and Chah, naming each of their predecessors with the title Horus Kenti Amentiu. Starting with Horus Kenti Amentiu Narmer. A temple dating to the pre-dynastic times was also founded in Abydos for this god. Toby Wilkins suggests that, I can't read, I'm going to see how fast I can read. Toby Wilkins suggests that, even in the early stage, Kenti Amentiu, I can't read that fast, name may have been simply an epithet for Osiris. You see that? So how could it be an epithet for something that wasn't there, man? You got to start making this stuff be right. If we don't find no Osiris before the 5th dynasty, but we find Kenti Amentiu pre-dynastic, how you going to use somebody's nickname? Well, that could happen. You can use the person's nickname before you use their real name and just say, oh, we just got another name for him. The role of Kenti Amentiu, Osiris, and Anubis underwent considerable changes in the late Old Kingdom. Originally, I sound like the AI of me, huh? Originally, only Anubis' name appeared in the, as soon as I said it, start messing up. Only Anubis' name appeared in the offering formula that was believed to, there you have it. So this is what I'll be wanting to point out. When I say that the Nubians Are the Southerners rock Egyptian culture like fundamentalists? Look at what we have here. It says, originally, only Anubis name appeared in the offering formula. Now look, what they gonna pull up. Oh, this is another one. Oh, I need to see this. So now, they pulled this up for offering formula or for the fact that it got Anpu on there. Let's see. So look, this is offerings to Osiris. Kenti Amentiu. So this Kenti Amentiu right here is representing the other. I mean, he took the name of the other dude, bruh. Foremost of the Westerners, Kenti Amentiu. So now you don't see a jackal after you see a throne after this Hotep Dinisu. Let me make it bigger. What I'm eating today? Tell me what to eat. Put it with the Cash App. I appreciate y'all. Y'all be good. Show supporters be real good. Now look at this. This is your glyph for kingship. This is your glyph again for offerings. This is your glyph for giving somebody something. Now this is your throne. So this is offerings to the throne, but who's on the throne? This I, Wasir, Osiris. Kenti, Amentiu. And this is, I don't even know what this bird is here for. But I don't know why that bird would do there. It probably would be on the Kenti Amentiu. And then we got the Netcher, Neb. I'm messing that up because it's upside down. But it's an easy ass glyph. Neb, whatever this is. Somebody write it in there. I know y'all. Hey, Chris, what's this at the end? It's not a, I keep forgetting what this is. Right now, I'm forgetting it, but whatever. Now let's look at this one. You can see what this is right here. This is like a wasp. That ain't a wasp. It's too small and I can't really see. So anyway, what y'all should be focusing on is what comes after this triangle thing that look like a teepee. Now watch after this, it ain't gonna be Osiris. For the Nubian, for the Southerner, why ain't it Osiris in the 11th dynasty? Why is it still Kenti Amentiu or Anubis? Because he's a fundamentalist, man. That's what I would argue. When I say that's what I would argue, I'm telling you that you probably won't find that in the book. But fundamentally, he's venerating. Well, why is he venerating Anpu? Tap do. What's tap do? Anpu tap do. Tap, you see this face turn to the side. So he's the first, but then this do is a mountain. So that don't make no sense. And I'm going to try to make it bigger for the glyph people. Tap do. I don't know what tap do mean. Oh, see, I'm supposed to be battling Garfield right now, and I got to go someplace. I don't think he was serious with that video. Let me see, is he streaming that for real? Yeah, I'll get up out of here. I'll probably go over there. But I ain't on it like that. So Anpu tap do. What does this tap do? Do is a mountain. Tap is like the first. I mean, yeah. And so it gets kind of crazy, but I would love to work this out. He on top of the mountain. Okay, he say he on top of his mountain. Okay, I'm not mad at that. Yeah, I said the first mountain, but tap could mean on top. Yep, personally. It could mean like top on head. Like just like I was saying, they represent the head as the top. You see, that's why Chris said top. So when I was talking about Upper Egypt was the top and the bottom was the butt, y'all probably thought I was trying to be funny, but it was really, really for real. And I see, so he on top of the mountain, and now I see a chick bird and something that should be there, but it look all broken off. Y'all see this broken off stuff? So it is what it is. But he didn't say nothing right there about nothing. He didn't say nothing about nothing. So let me see. And I didn't even see his name yet, but I'll probably find it when I come back. I got to get ready to go. Get up out of here. Well, we see M and 3 thrones right here. So that's a setu. Because I guess at this time he's using the plurality of the thrones to say plural thrones. But this is feminized. That's crazy. And it's saying the bet. So this must be still. Well, I got 3 thrones. Oh, 2 thrones, and then I set the bet in the fair. I set the bet in the fair, and then it got this star like dua, right? Or sabat. Because it wouldn't be a dua, it'd be a sabat, probably. Sabati. Now this is a different determinative right here. Yeah, this is a determinative for learning. I mean, this instruction whip dude holding this thing over the head. So that's why I think that this says Nefer. And I see the star right here, y'all probably can't see. And I don't know what to give this, but I see a T. And the star with a T over it, I'm giving Sabati. Let me show you. I might be wrong. S-B-A. Sabayet, like a teacher or a learner or a student. Look, the star with the T, writings and teachings. But it could be dua too, like I said earlier. Dua, you feel me? But it might not be neither of those. I'll see what y'all say. If y'all can make that. But since it has the determinative, starting this off with like it looked like a person going like this with a stick or something. That's normally used for instruction, not to be beaten nobody. I mean, sometimes it's used for ha is used to hit, but this one got that and then a B and then a T. So I don't know. I would have to figure that out. And then we got the traditional offerings over here, and it's probably gonna be amak, the word we was looking at the other day, but whatever. But what should you pull out of the stele? Well, this person who represented himself as a traditional Egyptian with the material culture of Nubians clearly said in the ancient Egyptian language, not in no foreign Nubian language or nothing else, he said that he was a Southerner. And this is his wife, and let's see what her name is. And he literally said that this is my wife right here. So look, he said this is my wife. What's his wife's name? Hemet, so that's his wife. Hemet, and then what's this under here? See when it's, that's an F, his wife. Hemet F, but I don't know what this is in the middle. Hemet F, his wife. Her name is something. What is this after this? Oh, if I look at the right monitor, it looks different, but I still can't make it. Something about a ma. It got a little ma sickle at the bottom, but I don't know what's on top of it. I don't know what's on top of it. Just getting notifications, man. Thank y'all for the contributions. Let me see. Something about whore. I see Samahor, because you see the whore right there. And don't think about English. This ain't English. And this is what is this? A twisted flag H? Would you think that's a twisted flag H? Yeah, I see Samah too. I seen Samah whore, but you see the whore after that, the hoodie? So like Samah whore, and either this is a badly drawn twisted flag H, or it looked like a man with a belly, and that ain't no determinative standard like that. So I'm gonna say this is a twisted flag H. You know what I'm saying? Because why it look like that? So her name would probably be Samahora. Samahora. What's this? A sawduck or a that looked like a sawduck, not a vulture. So Samahora. I don't know. Samahora, something like that. And it was saying his something and his something else. So she was his wife and she was something else. Because I see this F right here, but I can't see what else she was. And we got a star right here. Whore, yeah, her. Sama, her. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, her. Sama, her, yeah, instead of the other way. Now, I see a star here and a determinative that looks like some type of a bird. It actually don't look like, it look like a bird with a star. And I see a seb under here, a S and a B. But I can't make what this is in front of the S and the B. But I got a SBN. So Seneb, no, that ain't Seneb, that's SBN. I got to get ready to get up out of here, though. All right, it was another good show. And we're going to keep on coming for some more and some more. You know, that's how it goes. I did this funny ass video. Are people on Instagram like that? People say this is a new genre. See, I told you. I just started a new genre. Look.
Was tripping. Blue to the Republican National Convention. I'm a boss. No, that's my actual position. With chicks, I take my pick like I just got my natural condition.
Hey, how my rhymes be thinking of that, bro? My rhymes be thinking of the craziest stuff. I take my pick. Ooh, I'm a boss. I'm going to end this show like this, and y'all can just think about this and laugh for a long time. I'm a boss. No, that's my actual position. With chicks, I take my pick like I just got my natural conditioned. Imagine dude with the afro with the pick. All right, I'm going, y'all. Another good show. Thank you. Thank you again. I'm putting up the Cash App for all the supporters as I walk out the door. You know how that do. Because it's y'all that make the show grow. So if you're watching your TV right now, grab your phone while you laughing at that lyric and aiming at the screen. And what all you got to do is look, screenshot that. Not screenshot it, but take a picture of it and hit your boy off. I appreciate y'all. Be back tomorrow maybe.